up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my 31 days of horror update, days 7 through 11, what I've watched the last 5 days. Some really good films, some classic horror movies from the 60s and 70s, so let's get started. So on day 7, I watched The Haunting from 1963, a Robert Wise production, starring Julie Harris, Claire Bloom, Richard Johnson, I believe it's Richard Johnson. Yeah, Richard Johnson and Russ Tamblyn. Of course, based on the novel The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Came out in 1963. Brilliant film. Just a great atmosphere. Yeah, it's about this house in Connecticut, this famous Hill House. Sort of grew up evil. There's been sort of murders and suicides there over the years, and it's been sort of passed along through generations and various owners. Nobody wants to live in it. Nobody wants to stay in it, that's for sure. Not overnight anyways. But a professor who studies the paranormal, he's invited 3 people to spend the night and sort of study their reactions over the night to this house, Hill House, and it's a interesting film. It's interesting because it doesn't rely on sort of cheap special effects like the remake of The Haunting did. It's all about character and performance. There's not real many like sort of scares, so to speak. It's all about, especially the character played by Julie Harris. She's the one who's sort of most affected by what's going on in the house and what's happening to the other people. Yeah, Julie Harris right here. She's the one who's really been affected the most by this house. Great horror movie, just classic. Okay, on day 8, another classic. Goes without saying, I watched The Birds, also from 1963, directed of course by Alfred Hitchcock, based on the Daphne du Maurier classic. Great movie, of course, about a sort of chance encounter in San Francisco between a man and a woman, and the woman goes up the coast to Bodega Bay to pursue him for the weekend. She brings along these couple of lovebirds in a cage for the guy's younger sister's birthday, and the woman, of course, is played by Tippi Hedren, and the man is played by Rod Taylor, who's sort of a playboy. He's a lawyer who works in San Francisco, and on the weekends he stays up in his family home in Bodega Bay, and she goes up there to follow him. And of course, out of nowhere, while she's sneaking across the bay on the way back, I love when she sneaks across the bay in the boat to put the bird cage in his house, and then she comes back, and then all of a sudden on the way back she gets hit in the head by a random seagull, and then all kinds of weird bird attacks start happening in the town and to the town members. Seemingly out of nowhere. Birds do not attack people, as the old lady in the diner says. Yeah, great movie, great cast. Tippi Hedren, she's got this really sort of hypnotic way of talking. I really like her performance in this film. Rod Taylor's really good. Jessica Tandy, really good as Rod Taylor's mother. Very overbearing. Lots of overbearing mothers in this sort of update, as you'll see later on. Suzanne Plachette is really good as the school teacher who Tippi Hedren hooks up with. She stays at her house, and she's the school teacher of the young girl. Yeah, just great moments. The bird attacks are really frightening. I especially love where she goes to visit the school, and then she goes outside. She's waiting for because some guy got murdered. Had his eyes plucked out, and so there's a lot of fear going on, and so she's gone to the school to pick up the young girl, and she's waiting for class to come out, and she goes outside to have a cigarette, and in the background on the oh, what the hell is it called? Like the playground area. All the crows start lining up, start gathering. Each time it goes back to that shot, you see more and more crows. Really sort of ominous. And then when the school breaks and all the kids run down the street, they all get attacked. The Birds, not Hitchcock's best, but still a great film in my opinion. I still love it. The Birds from 1963. Okay. Oh man, my back hurts. Alright, day number 9, October 9th, I watched The Wicker Man from 1973, of course, directed by Robin Hardy. The original, of course, starring Edward Woodward. Yes, that is way too many Woods in a name for anybody. I mean, Edward Woodward. Who would name their son Edward if their last name was Woodward? Just ridiculous. Anyway, he plays a police officer who's sent from Scotland to one of the Scottish Isles, this place called Summerisle, to investigate the disappearance of a young girl. And he finds a very weird island. The people there are very different from what he's used to. They have different religious beliefs, almost pagan-like. Film, of course, stars Christopher Lee as Lord Summerisle, the great Christopher Lee. You've got a Bond girl from The Man with the Golden Gun, Britt Eklund as the innkeeper's daughter. Her sort of naked slap dance that first night he's there is really sort of weird and kind of erotic in a way because she's naked throughout the whole thing. So yeah, Britt Eklund, good to look at in this film. Why she speaks with a Scottish accent that's obviously been dubbed is completely beyond me. But anyway, this police officer is investigating the disappearance of a young girl, and he believes that she's been murdered, and then he believes that she's been being held and for a certain purpose. Towards the end of the film, the end of the film is just classic, just great. As this unsuspecting copper basically falls prey to human sacrifice. There, I said it. If you haven't seen The Wicker Man, I'm sorry. That's what happens at the end. I don't like spoiling movies. I never do, really. But that's the only way to say it. Wicker Man's great. The remake with Nicolas Cage sucked. Okay. Where are we? October 10th, day 10. I watched another classic horror film from 1973, or from any year, and that is, of course, The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin, based on the novel by William Peter Blatty, who produced the film and wrote the screenplay. He won an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay. The film also won for Best Sound. One of the greatest horror films of all time, and one of my favorites. Just a brilliant film about a young girl, Reagan McNeil, played by Linda Blair, who falls prey to a possession by some sort of demon, of course, and her mother, played by Ellen Burstyn, has no idea what to do about it. Of course, at first she seeks medical help. They put her in shock treatment and therapy and give her drugs and all that kind of stuff, and it just worsens and worsens. The things that Linda Blair does and says are so iconic. Of course, the crucifix scene, the spinning of the head, and in this version, the spider walk scene down the stairs. So many great moments, of course. Eventually, she turns to a priest, Father Karras, played by Jason Miller, and he also enlists the help of another priest who actually has done exorcisms, played by the great Max von Sydow, Father Merrick. Yeah, just a brilliant film, still one of the scariest of all time, and yeah, just a great film, The Exorcist. Okay, day 11, last night, I watched another classic from the 70s, and of course the remake's coming out soon. I don't know when exactly, I probably won't see it when it comes out anyway. We have Carrie from 1976, directed of course by Brian De Palma. One of my favorite De Palma films. This is a brilliant movie, of course, starring Sissy Spacek as the young Carrie White, young 17-year-old high school girl, sort of outcast, misfit, not really misfit, just outcast, very shy. The opening scene is her getting made fun of in the shower when she gets her period. All the other girls, the popular girls, make fun of her, start throwing tampons at her, plug it up, as she bleeds away in the shower for the first time. I almost forgot that that scene is like right at the beginning of the movie. It's so strange. I thought there was a build up to that, rewatching it again, and I forgot that there really wasn't. Of course, she goes home to her deeply religious and very overbearing mother, played by Piper Laurie. Piper Laurie is just great as a mother in this film. So eventually, one of the teachers, the gym teacher, she sort of tries to protect Carrie and look after her while she's at school and encourage her to sort of be more open and less shy, that sort of thing. She's looking out for her basically, especially after what these girls did to her, and she takes it out on the girls, who are played by actresses like Amy Irving and Karen Allen. Um, and of course, John Travolta stars in this film as well. John Travolta plays Karen Allen's boyfriend in this film. But one of the girls is basically hatching a plot to sort of get back at Carrie at the upcoming prom. Of course, you've got the great prom scene where she gets doused in pig's blood after she's crowned prom queen. And then, of course, I haven't even mentioned the fact that she has telekinetic powers, which is the whole point. She's this young girl who's struggling with all these things and being able to move things with her mind. But watching it again, the prom scene is actually really beautiful, like leading up to all the chaos and the terror. It's just the way that De Palma shoots this film. It's got a great sort of dreamlike quality to it that I really dig. Yeah, it's just beautiful colors and sort of the lighting throughout the movie, and especially the prom scene. It's probably one of my favorite prom scenes in any movie about high school and any horror movie. I don't know how many prom scenes there are in horror movies. I know there's a lot of prom, like prom night, whatever. But yeah, this is one of my favorite prom scenes in any movie, horror or otherwise. Just the way it looks and the way it's shot, the way the movement. There's lots of great slow-mo, yeah, slow motion throughout the prom scene, and it sort of builds up throughout that scene, and that's why when the chaos happens after she gets covered in blood, and like closes all the doors and starts burning shit, and she actually kills the teacher who helped her, which I'd never understand either. And then of course she goes back home covered in blood and has the final showdown with her mother, which is really good as well. And there's a great shot of what's her name, Piper Laurie, after she's been sort of impaled by all these knives and kitchen utensils, and it mirrors the sort of Jesus statue that she has locked up in the understairs cupboard where Carrie spends a lot of her time at home, unfortunately. So yeah, that is Carrie from 1976. Again, another super freaking long video for just 5 movies. But yeah, lots of great horror films in this part of the month that I've watched. These are all classics, that's for sure. So again, if you want to check out what I'm watching this month for 31 Days of Horror, the link will be in the description. It's a note on Facebook. And so upcoming, I'll have some stuff from the 80s. And then in a week or so, I'll be getting into 2 major horror franchises. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see ya.
Bond. James Bond.